Hi, good afternoon. These notes are on Outliers, and this should be page 125 of our notebook. So let's go ahead and get started. So what is an outlier? It is an outlier value that is much smaller or much bigger than the other values in the data set. When an outlier is included in the data set, it can affect the center. All right, so we're going to look at this scenario down here. So how does an outlier affect the mean, median, mode, and range of the data? So we've got 8 pairs of tennis shoes, all ranging in prices. If you notice, there's one tennis shoe that is standing out from the rest of them, and that's this one right here at $122. So this one is going to be an outlier because it's not fitting in with the rest of the data. So the outlier is the $122 shoe. And so what they want us to do is find the mean, median, mode without the outlier, and we want to see what are the effects with it and what are the effects and which one does it affect the most. So in our table, what we're going to do is we're going to take our numbers and we're going to find the mean, the median, and the mode. So to find mean, you're going to add all these together and divide by 8. So go ahead and do that into your calculator. And once you get that into your calculator, you should get 42.88. So I added all these and divided by 8, and I got $42.88. Then what I did next is I took this out. So in my calculator, I wrote the 7 without the 122, and then I divided by 7 pairs of shoes, and I got $31.57. When I did the median, I'm going to put these in order from least to greatest. So you've got 20, 20, and 20. And then you've got 31, 37, 45, 48, and 122. So once you put those in order, the median came out to be the $34 pairs of shoes. But if I took the outlier out, the median now was the $31 pair of shoes. And then the mode was the number that happened the most. So if I look up here in the picture, the number that occurred the most is the $20 pair of shoes. And then if I took the outlier out, it's still the $20 pair of shoes. So it doesn't seem like the outlier really affected the mode at all. So over here, what are the effects? So it looks like the outlier, when it was included, made the mean much higher. It's almost like the outlier kind of pulled the mean towards it. So I'm going to say pulled towards it. The median was slightly affected. It looks like it just went down a few dollars. So I'm just going to say slightly affected. And then the modes stay the same, so I'm going to say no effect. All right. So what can we kind of gather from this? It looks like when there's an outlier involved, the mean is definitely affected by this number. The median, somewhat, and the mode, not at all. All right, so now we're going to do it again. So in here, we're going to look at the time in minutes it takes 6 students to travel to school. So we have 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20, and 45. So which of these numbers stands out? The 45 minutes. Which measure do we think it's going to affect the most? I think it's going to affect the mean the most. Now we're going to fill in our data and we're going to see if this is true. So if I find the mean of this, so 8 plus 10 plus 10 plus 15 plus 20 plus 45, divide all of that by 6, I get 18. Then if I take the 45 out and I only add these 5 numbers together and I divide by 5, I get 12.6. So it looks like the mean went down by almost 6 minutes just by taking out the 45 minutes. The median is in between the 10 and 15, which is 12.5. If I take that out, the middle number is the 10. So it looks like it affected the median just slightly. And then the mode is 10 with it, but it's still 10 without it. So it looks like the mean is still the one that's affected the most. Okay. Then what you're going to do is on the inside. So that's pretty much it. That's all that you're going to be doing with Outliers. So you're going to see, you're going to name the outlier over here based on the animals of how long they live. Then you're going to give the value of it. And then you're going to find the mean, median, and mode with it. So over here it looks like the Galapagos tortoise is the one that is the outlier. And then you're going to take the Galapagos tortoise out of the data, so don't include this, and then find the mean, median, and mode. And then answer these questions down here. Do the same thing with a map of Central America. This is the approximate land areas that can be farmed in each Central American country. So with or without, and see which one's affected. And then down here are the prices of DVDs. So they give you prices. They ask, is there an outlier? If there is, name it. And if so, how does it affect the mean? And then you have one other question over here, and this map shows the number of endangered species in each country in South America. So a species is classified as endangered when it faces a very high risk of extinction. So here are the different countries, and then these are the number of endangered animals in the country. So all of these here, and then what they want you to do is just answer these questions down here. So once you've answered those questions, just pause the video, and then you can look at the answer key. All right, so here's the answer key for the inside left. So the tortoise was the outlier with a value of 200. My values for with the outlier were 62.14, 35, and 30. With the outlier was 39.17, 32.5, and 30. Which one did it affect the most? The mean, because it's a huge difference versus this is slightly different and that's the same. And then, so which one best describes the data? So I'm going to say the median is the better description of the data because it's not swayed or skewed. It's not changed by the outlier in this case. All right, down here, the map of Central America. I got Belize was the outlier at 200 miles squared. With the outlier, the mean was 3,100. Without it was 3,583. The median was 2,200 with and 3,350 without. And there were no modes. None of the numbers repeated. So in this problem, which outlier or which measure does the outlier affect the most? And I actually said the median because the difference here was only 400 square feet or square miles, and this one was over 1,000 square miles. So which one best describes the data? I said the mean because it's not as affected by the because it's not as affected as much as the median is by the outlier. I will tell you this is a rare occurrence. Normally, it's always the mean that's affected the most. It just so happens that the median was for this one, so it's a good thing that we went ahead and found that data. All right, down here, the prices of several DVDs. Is there an outlier? Yes, it was the price down here, the $4.75. And how does it affect the mean of the data? Well, with the $4.75, the mean was 19.72, and then without the $4.75, it was $22.22. So taking this out actually showed that the average cost was more expensive. So a store, if a store was selling these DVDs, they would probably use this one so that it seems cheaper to the audience. But if you really want to know what an average price of a DVD is, you would say, well, take out that outlier because I want to know what actually is the average. And this would be the more precise average would be the $22.22. All right, over here, they wanted you to list the countries in order from least to greatest with their endangered species. So there's my list in order. And then I answered a few questions. So which country has the most endangered species? Brazil with 64. Which country has the fewest? Chile and Suriname with 5. What is the range of the previous data? So 64 minus 5 is 59. What is the median of the previous data? 13, which is Paraguay. And then what is the mode? It was 3 countries with 6. French Guiana, Guyana, and Uruguay. And then number 7, what is the mean of the previous data? 18.4. Number 8, is there an outlier in the map above? And I said yes, Brazil. How does it affect the mean? Well, the mean with it is 18.4, but if we take the 64 out, we get 14.6. So in the recent year, endangered species in the United States was 150. If it were added to the data above, well, how would it be represented? So 150 would be the highest number, and it would be the outlier now. The mean with the 150 would now be 27.8. The median would be 20. The mode would still be 6, and the range would be 145. So what's affected? Everything is affected except for the mode. So it pulled the mean up by a lot. It pulled the median up and did not change the mode, and it definitely changed the range. All right, if you see any mistakes or if you have any questions, just write them at the bottom of the video, and I hope you guys have a great afternoon.